Hello and welcome to another episode of HBANZ Magnified. I'm your host, Dope Sayer, and joining me once again is my co-host, Maxi. How are you, Maxi?
Good, how are you?
Yeah, good, thanks. So on tonight's show, we're here to take a look at our Season 13 Grand Finalists and preview their matchups, as well as hearing from a special guest joining us later on the show. All right, so let's take a look at the preliminary finals first. Looking back at last week's results, you'd have to say the Lions beating the Mario Bros and the Piglets beating the Warrior Bros were probably their expected results. I think tippers were pretty heavily favouring the Mario Bros franchise to be knocked out last week, which they were. But I want to say congratulations to them and to Mario for having an extremely successful season and making the prelims in both divisions. So well done to them. Um, we'll start off with D1. So the Lions vs the Mario Bros. What did you make of that, Maxi? Were you ever worried about the Mario Bros at all? You guys seem to have them from the very beginning of the series.
I wasn't really worried once the match started. The matches started. I think we were a lot better in matches against Mario Bros than we were against Bullworms. I think Bullworms gave us a real fright, and we are a bit lucky to get out of that one.
Yeah, I'd
They
have to
played
agree.
really well.
Definitely think the Bullworms took it up to you guys. I definitely think you looked a better team against the Mario Bros. They pretty much looked all over the place defensively. They did look that way against Infamous as well in the semis. I just don't think they have a proper mid. I think Davo probably should be that guy, but he's letting them down a little bit in that area. And I don't think Viper really rushes at the goalkeeper as he should, and like in a way that forces a turnover. I think he lets it above him on the walls too much. Um, I don't know, but I know Mario was a bit stressed out that Viper and Davo weren't marking the opposition attackers and leaving them open for easy shots on goal. He pretty much came out with this frustration in chat about that. Um, in the series, in game two, though, I mean, both of the goals, it was a 2-0 game to the Lions. I think both of the goals were Mario's fault, though. The first, he had his clearance intercepted, he couldn't make the save after. And then the second, he just own goaled it, kicked it backward, like the classic don't kick backward. What rule is it again? Rule two, don't kick
Don't,
backward?
yeah,
Something like that. But yeah, that was a bit disappointing for him because he did have an amazing season, winning top clean sheets in Division One. But it wasn't all his fault, like we said. I don't think his offense provided anything. I don't think they were able to score a goal against you guys. Hey, not one.
No, I
Yeah.
think the other thing is like the pressure kept piling up. They needed to do more on defense to help Mario, and sometimes that just gets to you.
Yeah, it was disappointing for the Mario Bros. They finished second, but I think I'd say they were the worst performing team in this finals, the whole finals series in season 13. But anyway, the Lions got on top and they made the grand final. So well done to you guys, Maxi. Good job, great captaining.
Thanks.
All right, let's take a look at D2. Recap of last week. What did you make of this series with the Cubs versus the Warrior Bros? I thought the Warrior Bros put up an excellent fight. They
Yeah,
almost took it.
I thought Freshy was very decent at points, and I thought Session X did a really good job at forward.
Yeah,
I was worried at a point, even though they were better on defense than they were in attack. I really thought at one stage that they could have won. They did
yeah,
really well to push it to a game three.
definitely. I thought, yeah, like you said, Session, man. I thought Session had his probably his best game he's ever had up forward. He was unbelievable. Yeah, he used to be a goalkeeper too. He made that switch up forward this season. And I haven't really seen too much of him this season up forward, but that game he played really well. Probably the best player I'd say. I think Fleshy had a decent game on defense. I think offensively he missed a few clearances and passes to his teammates that could have resulted in a couple of goals to the Warrior Bros. But besides that, he played pretty well. I think Chad played reasonable, but not the best. But I was impressed by Mems when he subbed in. He filled in for I think a half in the first game, maybe even the whole game. Can't really remember.
Mm.
But no, he came in and he was very strong. They put up a great fight. Um, Unfortunately, they fell short, but it was an extremely close series. All games finished with only one goal lead for the winning team in each game, and I think game one even went to OT. So really well done by the Warrior Bros. But the Cubs, they were too strong. They didn't have their best games though, but they were able to get over the line. Sort of like the Bulldogs in the AFL this season, I'd say. They just keep finding a way to win, or even the Giants. But Dills played pretty well, but Modric was pretty awful, I have to say. That was one of the worst games I've seen him play. And Angst didn't have his best game either, but apparently they might have been lagging. Can you touch on that at all? Do you know anything why they were down on form or
Um, I don't know. I think it's good that they managed to get over the line, even though they weren't playing their best. I don't know about the lag.
yeah? I think
I'm really not sure about that, but
I think they said they were, but who knows? I just think that highlights how important debate it is to the Cubs team. I don't think Hanks and Modric work all that well together because they're both forwards. And I think that team really needs Debater to come in and play a good mid role if they're going to have a chance against the Piglets this weekend. Um, but we'll have a look at that shortly. But for now, we have a special guest interview coming up with Ebus from the Alaskan Bullworms. Ebus, are you there?
Hey, Dirk. Good to be
Hey.
here. I feel like I've been here before.
I wonder why. Well, I want to start off by congratulating you on a good season with the Bullworms. You guys fought bravely in the semi-finals against the Lions, and most tippers had you guys at no chance to win the series at all. But you actually had the series tied at a game with even the lead in game three, but you just fell short in the end. Just want to ask how hard it was losing that series at the end there.
Yeah, it was a tough loss in the end, knowing the chances that we had, especially it was a chance when we were 1-0 up in game three. I had a fairly open goal and I just hesitated and stuffed it up.
Yeah,
And even more so, sort of knowing that we would have faced Mario Bros. And I feel like basically that game against Lions was that winning that would have almost seen us into the grand final. I feel like we would have taken Mario Bros pretty comfortably in the next game.
yeah,
And yeah, I was evident with how they played against Lions. I think after Infamous, Lions and Bullworms were the next two best teams. So, but yeah, congratulations to Maxi. I mean, probably deserved it in the end. But yeah, it was a really, really good series. Probably the most enjoyable that I've played in, that I can remember at least. But yeah,
yeah.
it was
No,
really
that's
really entertaining in the end.
that's definitely a fair call. I'd say you would have beaten the Mario Bros as well. They were really down on form, and you guys are really up in form. And I think you, Ramin, and Chicken were just starting to click as well. So
Yeah,
unfortunately for you guys, couldn't get over the line, but it was definitely a great effort. But I can't really say too much about your Division Two team in a good way.
yeah.
Explain to us what happened with the Gummy Worms, why they had such a poor season.
Just a combination of things, really. I mean, just a bit of bad luck and probably some poor decision making on my part with trading. But yeah, I think on the draft table, I think I did a pretty decent job. I mean, I had DeLoving, who, as I found out, couldn't play Div 2. I had Andy Vo, who was a very, very good player last season from Canada.
Mm.
And I had Wingard and RLC. And I think if it worked out, we could have been a much, much better team. But yeah, some problems with RLC, who wanted out, some problems with DeLoving, who couldn't play. Saw me just having to play all these young, inexperienced players. But I don't know. I'm
Yeah,
not too disappointed with the fact that guys like Silence and Apex were able to get game time and Awobi as well.
yeah. Well, you did get a bit unlucky there with the loving for sure. He definitely probably would have been the MVP of D2, I would say,
Yeah,
scoring all those goals. But yeah, no, it's probably good in a way for the community anyway because those inexperienced players get minutes to get excited for next season. So no, that's good. It worked out for the community as a whole in the end anyway. So bad luck to the Gummy Worms.
yeah.
But yeah, after this season, do you think you'll be interested in captaining next season?
If the opportunity is offered to me, I'll definitely be happy to. Whether the admins who decided to let me captain, I'm not sure. But either I'm not too fast. I mean, I've enjoyed captaining for 3 seasons. If I weren't to captain next season. I think 3 seasons is a pretty good run. Definitely an enjoyable experience, but I don't really mind either way.
Yeah, I'd say you're probably a shoe-in at the moment. I don't think too many other people are knocking on the door.
Yeah,
So yeah, I'd expect you would be captain if you're looking to retain it.
yeah.
Um,
Don't tell Mario that though.
yeah, might be a 1 to 2 vote on that department.
I don't think Dills must be the captain either, if we're being honest. But I mean, I've been vocal who I think should captain, and I've also been vocal about possibly adding in a 7th team. I think if the sign-ups permit it, I think definitely we could have a 7th.
Well, that
But we'll
actually
see.
that actually leads well into my next question. I was going to ask you, are there any rules or anything different that you think should be changed for next season, or is it just the off-season
Um,
length and an extra team that you'd like to see changed?
yeah, I was just about to say off-season length. I've been pretty. Yeah, when I push something, I'm pretty vocal about it. I'm Chitango.
Yeah.
I'm normally hard on it and giving shit to guys like Dilzer. But yeah, just 7th team. I think we could definitely have. Besides that, yeah, no longer than about an 8-week off season.
8
8 months is more what we've been having.
8 months.
But
Yeah,
no,
I want to add something on those 2 points. Like, the both of those suggestions would help the community massively. I mean, I think Mario exaggerates it a bit, but I think the longer the off season, like the more players we tend to lose. And like the other thing is like with 7 teams, like I know some teams don't have that as many show up, but like for the last 2 seasons, I've had like my whole team show up, and I think Famous have had a lot of their players show up as well. So it'd be beneficial if there's another team, so more players can get game time.
Yeah, I can definitely tell you guys that we will be looking at a 7th team next season if the numbers stay around the same. And we're probably going to look to close sign-ups a week earlier as well, so we can finalise captains, have a week to finalise captains and numbers, and I need a week for my little thing coming up next season as well. Which should
no,
be
but
exciting.
with the off-season length, you don't want to have it like SPHB. I think he said it was 2 weeks after the grand final they open sign-ups or something, or they have the draft.
Don't know exactly, but pretty fast.
But
a good balance.
You want to balance. You don't want 2 weeks, but you don't want 4 months. I mean, in previous seasons, it feels like we've been at the mercy of a game we have nothing to do with, or you and Dills have something to do with. But it feels like we're at the mercy of Tag Pro, and we're just waiting for your season to open up so we can play Hacksport. So I'm glad that you made that thread and opened the discussion for it, because I think if it was up to Dills, we'd be playing in February or something.
Well, I can tell you that, well, I don't know if you guys can even see the results, but the results on the poll pretty much, I think, I don't remember the exact number, maybe around 23 people won it between 6 to 10 weeks, and 3 people won it 10 plus weeks. And one of those 3 people is Dills. So
I made
one was
a
Fank as well.
joke to Fank. Did Dilzer create multiple accounts so I could vote on the 10-week option?
Can you see, out of curiosity, can you see who's voted on those? Because I think that for those kind of polls, you can. I was going to say.
I can see. I don't think you guys can see that.
No, because I was going to say, if you couldn't see it, it's a bit dodgy for big calls like that.
But I don't think Fank is one. But I won't say who it is, just out of respect for their privacy. But
yeah.
Anyway, we'll move on from the rules. We'll see what happens with that during the off season. But let's talk about your draft, Ebus. So you drafted Chick in the first round. My personal opinion on that was that you probably shouldn't have, because I think you both excel at the same position, which is forward. Just explain to us why you chose to draft Chicken and where you had him in your plans at the Gummy Worms.
Yeah, it's easy to look back and sort of think, oh, could I have got this or that person? I mean, looking back, I guess I could have got. I think Red Devil might have been a good fit, but I can't complain about Chicken one bit. I mean, he's been very, very good, very versatile. You saw him in the finals. You know, some of his goalkeeping was magnificent, and I don't know. I think he did a very good job. Initially, I probably would have wanted him to forward with me and have Juicy goalkeeping, but Juicy's form sort of dipped. But I'm glad Chicken was able to step up, and I was able to get Roman, and I think we did a pretty good job considering.
Yeah, I definitely think you guys looked a lot better with. Ramin in over Juicy. I think it just suited your play style to be more attacking, have a more aggressive goalkeeper like Chicken. I think Juicy plays a little bit too safe for your sort of
Yeah,
play style. Um,
yeah,
but yeah, I don't know. I think I really do like you, Chicken and Ramin as a team, but I just think your biggest weakness was your defense because I think you're all pretty much all three of you guys' main position is actually forward. So I don't think you have a really strong mid in there at all. Um,
yeah. When you've mentioned it on the stream on the final against Lions on the stream, we did. Me and Roman kept pushing up until the ball just sort of leaving Chicken so isolated, and at the time, you don't really notice it. You're sort of caught in the game, and really watching back, it was yeah. We definitely should have done better on defense in that game, and yeah,
yeah,
I don't know.
you could definitely see a little bit of miscommunication with you and Ramin.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan of having teams pre-organized who's playing that mid role. Um, but
yeah. I don't. I'm not one to sort of. I'm not really one with tactics. I basically just I pick my team. I try to pick guys who I'm going to play well with, and guys that I know I'm going to really cause trouble in a sense. Like they're going to be pretty. It's going to get together as a team.
mm,
And I do my thread at the end after the Sunday for the games, and I just basically just say how the game went. Like not even I just say what happened in the game, and then I say, oh, next week we have this team and that team. So I'm not really one for tactics, but maybe that's to my detriment. But I don't know.
yeah, well, you guys had a good season anyway, so you must have done something right.
We had a decent season. Yeah, I can't complain too much.
Yeah. Well, I have to ask you about the trade that you made with the Lions. So what was your reasoning to get rid of DeLoving, who was at the time scoring well, but you brought in Ramin, who was actually struggling to score at the Lions?
Yeah, well, DeLoving sort of expressed that he didn't really fit in with the team or particularly want to be there from the first week. He PM'd me and said he wanted to be traded, and I was sort of looking for a suitable deal with someone. And then after that, nothing really came through, and he sort of played most of the season. And then Maxi came with me randomly for Roman for DeLoving, and he didn't think I'd accept it, and I thought about it, and yeah, I was pretty pleased with Roman. I think DeLoving was right in the sense. I mean, me, DeLoving, and Chicken. I mean, you talk about how me, Chicken, and Roman were very attacking. I think me, DeLoving, and Chicken was even attacking to the extreme.
Yeah, I would have
And
to agree. Yeah.
happy with Roman, and I think it was definitely a like for like. It was a pretty fair trade, and a lot of people argue that most trades in league these days aren't very fair. But I think we both benefited from it, and I don't think had it have been DeLoving on my team and Roman on Max's team for the final, I'm not sure it would have been so close. It mightn't have been the thrilling game that it was. I think it worked pretty well, and I think both captains are pretty happy with how it worked out, even though we lost.
Yeah, I was gonna mention like maybe it would have been better for you if you didn't actually make the trade because the Lions actually didn't. I bet they barely scored all up until that trade. Maybe they just would have missed out in total. And don't mention infamous, but
And well, I said it last night when you stuffed up the recording, and I'll say it again. Had it not been for Infamous, and they have a history of doing this, they win every game of the season, and then they magically lose by 5 goals in the last round, allowing the Lions to make the finals. You can point the finger at me and say I gave them DeLoving, but all you had to do was just draw with them, and they wouldn't have made the finals, and they wouldn't be in the position they are now. But that's not to take away from Maxi. I'm just playing, but
that just I think that just shows that Deco is the real MVP of Infamous. Maybe he won MVP. Who knows? Maybe he didn't play
oh,
enough games. We'll find out this Sunday night. But no, the trade happened. It was a win-win. Maybe more so of a win for the Lions, I'd say, because they look very dangerous. But no, it was definitely a reasonable trade. And just lastly, I want to ask you on the grand finals this weekend, who are your two season 13 winners and why?
Infamous will win Division 1 pretty comfortable, I would have thought. Obvious reasons. I've got yourself, I've got Deco, and I've got Red Devil. Just the way you guys play together, it's just it's a nightmare for any other team. I think Maxi, I think you guys will get a game off them, but I think Infamous will win pretty comfortably otherwise in 4. As for D2, very, very much looking forward to this. I mean, you see all the controversy on both sides. You've got Drag on one side, you've got Dilzo and Angst on the other. There's going to be some fireworks in this game. It's going to be. I mean, you couldn't even. It took you a whole week to organise a host, only for Doug to host it in the end to the last final. So
Yeah.
that tells you a lot about the rivalry that's sort of started with these two teams. I think the Piglets will take the Cubs in 5, but it could go either way. And just a bit of to the byplay with this: if the Piglets win, you've got Drag with the title, and you've got RLC with his 3rd title, having not had much part to play in either of them, in any of them. And then if the Cubs win, you've got Dilza, who will pick up his first trophy in D2, his first trophy, and it'll be in D2. And if he doesn't win, then he's failed to win another trophy, and it was in D2. So regardless of what happens, there'll be a lot of shit talking afterwards. I'll be heavily involved in it as well.
Definitely going to be
I know.
interesting.
Yeah, I know personally. If Dilson doesn't win, that'll just be great drama.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great for the banter.
Now that you say that, if Infamous win and Piglets win, oh man, Dills is under a lot of pressure this weekend to just win one.
And you see the way, I think Dilson's confidence is pretty low at the moment. He's starting this tactic where he'll grab the ball halfway and he'll just drag it all the way to the corner, and then he'll just go through a wall battle with Drag. So we'll see if that happens again in the grand final.
We may see a glimpse of that in a replay coming up soon, but
okay.
Those are some fair calls. I think Infamous are the favourites in the tipping, and I think the Piglets are just the favourites as well. Results will be released. Well, when this is streamed, the results will have been released, but it's pretty cool that I can pretty much talk about things in the future. But yeah, no. Thanks for your interview, Evis.
No, thanks for having me for the second time.
You.
If you make me do it again, I'm not. Good luck to...
Oh my god, it's not recording.
What?
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah, I knew straight away.
Thanks, Evis.
Just before you let me go.
Oh my god, I was about to.
No, I bleed for this a split second, and I'm like, no, he's talking shit. But just before I go, I want to wish you guys all the best. Wish you guys all the best for D1, and thanks for having me.
Thanks, Evis. Cheers.
Thanks,
have a good one. All right, that was Evis there from the Gummy Worms. Now we're going to move on to preview the Division 1 Grand Final between Infamous and the Lions. It's going to be an amazing series. During the regular season, there's been one win to the Lions and then one draw. That one win coming in the final round, or was it round 9? Either one, with Deco missing that game. But the Lions have the wood over Infamous during the regular season, which you can't really say about many teams. My player to watch this game is DeLoving. I think he's the key to the Lions offense. He is the one that scores their goals. He's very dangerous, one of the best finishers in HBANZ. I think he's going to have a really big part to play. And my who needs a big game player is Swoozy. I think he controls the field and the play over at the Lions. He's got a massive task defensively. He needs to play smart and make sure he doesn't leave Dills isolated against myself and Red Devil. I think we will do really well, me and Red, if Swoozy allows us to get off the leash. But Swoozy is perhaps one of the best players in HBANZ, and I think he needs a big game for the Lions to win this series. What about you, Maxi? Do you have any players to watch or anything like that?
Yeah, I think Red Devil for Infamous is the player to watch. We know what you're going to get from you. But Red Devil really sparks the attack. And I was very surprised that a lot of teams passed up the opportunity to get Red Devil. He was my going to be the player I picked if Swoozy didn't sign up, because I had the second pick. Kuma was already taken. I would have snapped up Red Devil, definitely.
Yeah, I was definitely surprised that Red Devil fell to me. I actually PM'd him before the draft. I asked him if he wanted to play for me, even though I probably wouldn't have a high enough pick to get him, and he said he was cool. And to my surprise, he fell to me, and he's just been amazing. Probably, it's hard to pick between him and Winky as my best forward partner ever. We just have such good chemistry, me and Red, and he's just done so well this season. He's scored he's came first in the top goals for Division One, so definitely a great call there, Max. So anyway, let's take a look at Infamous. As we mentioned last week, they're extremely good at making space for each other and passing the ball around until they get a good shot. But another thing that they're exceptional at, I find, is causing turnovers because they have such good chemistry with each other, as I was just saying. So let's go to this replay. In this replay here, you can see that Mario has the ball. He's going to use the wall to try and get a clearance. Now, if I pause it here, whip out my pen, you can see Red Devil is charging at Mario at this angle here, right? So he's coming and blocking off his angle. So if Mario was to try and allow this ball to come down and kick it under Red, he wouldn't have the time. So what he has to do, because Red is rushing from the angle, is he's forced to actually kick up to Viper. So if we raise this, we press play. Mario does that. He tries to get it down. He can see Red is coming at him. So he turns back up to make the pass. Now Dope, knowing that Red had that covered, he's actually stuck close to Viper and he's ready to pounce on that intercept because he knows that Mario is going to pass exactly there. And that's exactly what mids need to learn to do to really control the field. Dope plays that really well. He's able to spam it past Viper, get it into the corner, and allow Infamous to have another chance on offense. So really well done by the Infamous there. They're really, really good at that. Dilza is going to have some worries with his clearances in this series. All right, now let's have a look at the Lions. Now, one of the things that I think they do really well is that, as well as Infamous, they pass it around really well to create chances and utilize that back passing. I think this grand final is probably going to be one of the best we've ever had in terms of passing it around. Most grand finals that we've had have been bus balls, but I think both of these teams are really enjoying the back pass this season, and it's produced some marvelous goals. So let's have a look at this replay. So we can see Dope and Swizzy in the corner. Dope's going to be able to get that clearance, but Dilza pushes up. He's smart enough to push up. But what he does even better is he realizes that Red Devil is running down. So what he's actually going to do is he's going to fake him out, and because he sees that Swizzy is wide open. So he's going to look to turn to pass to Swoozy here and go all the way up to here. Now you can see already when Swoozy is going to collect that ball, he's got wide open space to get it to the loving here between Dope and Red. Now you could say maybe Dope should come and cover this angle here so Swizzy can't make the pass. But as you can see, Pat is so far down that Swizzy will have all this goal to just shoot if Dope goes to cover that angle. So we erase this, we press play. And what you can see Dope does is he actually hangs back because what he wants to do is actually cover that top half and then hopefully Pat can cover the bottom half. Whereas Swoozy, when he collects, he's going to go straight down to DeLoving, as we'll see. He does, gets it to DeLoving, and DeLoving is just so good at finishing. He's one of the best in HBANZ, slots it just above that bottom post. I think he is the best finisher in HBANZ, right next to Kuma. I reckon they're equal top. He is super dangerous, and we are definitely worried about DeLoving. So what do you think, Maxi? Who is your tip for this series, with all bias aside?
I think it's definitely going to be a close game either way, 4 or 5 games. I'm leaning towards 5 games. The passing from both teams is really good, and I'd encourage more teams to play a passing style of hacks. It's really exciting to watch, and if more teams play like that, I reckon it'd encourage more players to work on their passing and not just play in a negative mindset.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're seeing one of our best seasons in terms of quality because we received a massive amount of sign-ups, all with really high quality as well. And we still got players like Joey in July that have yet to sign up. And if they do, man, we could see a lot of back passing next season. That would be lovely to see open plays. I agree. In terms of that, in terms of your tip, well, I definitely understand you going the Lions, and I definitely understand anyone else that would go the Lions. Personally, I'm going to keep my faith with my team. I'm going to go Infamous in a 3-2 series. I think it's going to be super close. It should definitely be a great contest, though. All right, let's move to the Piglets versus the Cubs in the Division 2 Grand Final. They've got one win each against each other in the regular season. In the semi-finals, the Piglets did win that 2-1, with Game 3 going into OT on a neutral host. That was a really exciting game to watch. My player to watch in this game is 13. Um, he's just scored on Dilser so many times throughout this season. He has a massive role to play. I think he will keep scoring on Dilser throughout this series as well. But who knows? Who needs a big game player is debated. I think, as we saw last week against the Warrior Bros, the Cubs are pretty much lost without him. Anks and Modric, like I said, I don't think they work too well together. I think they need a midfielder to come in, like debated. He plays that role really well. Well, first we'll have a look at the replay before we talk about our tips. So if I go here to this replay here, put it on the big screen. So here we can see that Ank's going to get the ball. He's going to try and get it to Modric, but Crow makes a really good defensive play, and he's able to clear it forward. Now, Dilser being Dilser, he's going to take the ball all the way back to the corner. They do have a lead in this game. It is in overtime of Game 3 with the Piglets down by 1, so understandable there. But anyway, 13 is against him in the corner. Now, he's able to find that cross to Crow. So what Crow does really well is he notices here, I'll get my pen out. He notices that 13 is being marked by Dilser here, so he doesn't have the option to pass it back to him. So instead, what he's going to do is he's going to pass it up to Kills, which he does just that. Kills is going to collect the ball. He's smart enough to go to 13, and now you can see here already, just before 13 receives that ball, that there's a gap between Angst and Dilser. Now, my reasoning why is because Dilser was in the corner before defending here, and I do not like goalkeepers in the corner. I like them nice and safe here on the post, because what actually happens is when Dilser's defending that corner and then the ball gets cleared out to Crow like it was before over here, Dilser actually runs down to rotate to that post, and then whoever's on the post has to rotate back up or come out and make a defensive play or whatever. But in the middle of the rotation, sometimes things gets confusing, and 13 may get left open for a brief moment. In this case, Angst and Modric both pushed out and left that gap between them and Dills. And then the end result, you can see 13 slots it beautifully and it comes off Angst into the goal. I think the Piglets, their strength is causing opposition turnovers and making them pay for errors in positioning just like that. I don't think they're actually as good as passers as the Cubs. I think Dilser plays a big part in that. But the Piglets, for me, they are just better at capitalising on chances. As we saw last week, the Cubs had a few difficulties with that. But if we have a look at the Cubs, as I just said before, like their D1 team, they're able to pass the ball around really well, and a big part of it why is because of Dilser and how he's extremely good at finding gaps in the defense and making the right pass. But this replay here is actually why I think the baited is extremely important to this Cubs team. So if I press play, we can see Angst and 13's in the corner. Angst does really well to turn him around and get the back pass to Dills. Now Dills is going to collect this ball, but Crow actually is playing this really well and he's rushing out so he can actually block off his pass, Dills' pass to the baited. So Crow plays it really well and 13 has Angst covered. So Dills can't do much here. But what ends up happening is Dills just kicks it into Crow and it trickles down to Angst. So now you can see here Angst has that pass on to Debated. It's going to go up like that. And Debated can just run in and kick the goal at the top post. Perhaps, unless Kills is smart enough to make it in time. So if we press play, we can see that it's going to happen. Goes to Debated. Now Debated, he has a choice here. He can either go to that top post and hope Kills doesn't make it, and it's hard because that ball he has to control that ball really well and then actually aim it for that top post without in the time without Kills not getting there. So it's very difficult. But what he is smart enough to notice is that there is a gap between 13 and Kills here that he can aim for and possibly go into the goals. And he is smart enough to realize that. So we press play. He goes for that gap, But now a big point of this replay is that Kills actually made the save, but 13, he's in 200 ping and he's lagging and he's spamming because he's worried about Debated making such a good play, and he ends up own goaling. So I think this is actually a big part of the series. I think the Piglets' defense is extremely shaky. I don't think it's stable. I think the Cubs' defense is a lot better. So I think in a neutral host, Drag's ping will be a bit worse as well than in this room for this goal. And while the Piglets did win Game 3 in a neutral host, the Cubs didn't have Debated for that game. And all reports tell me that he's able to make the grand final this Monday. Is that true, Maxi?
Yes, it is.
Yep, so I think if the Cubs pass around like they can, they'll open up the Piglets defensively and be able to score a big bunch of goals on them. So my tip for this series is the Cubs. I put down the Piglets to win 2 weeks ago in the semis. Got that right. I'm changing to the Cubs now. I think they'll win it 3-1. Definitely could go 3-2. It's such a close series. I'm going 3-1 for a bit of a difference in the tipping. I think the Cubs will have them, but that's just me personally. What about you, Max? Who are you tipping for this one? Again, all bias aside.
I think it's going to be very close. I reckon it's going to go to 4 or 5 either way. I think Debated is a very underrated player. I'm surprised I got him in around a pick 30 odd. Is very underrated, and I think he'll make a big difference on Monday, even if we lose, because I think he really adds a lot to our team.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think he needs to have a good game as well. If the Cubs are going to win this, it's definitely 2 amazing grand finals coming up this weekend. Let's have a recap of our tips. Put them up on the screen here. I've gone Infamous 3-2. Maxi has gone his Lions team 3-2. We're both going for our respective teams. For Division 2, I've gone the Cubs 3-1. Maxi has also gone the Cubs 3-2. Like I said, can't wait for the series. It's really tough to pick a winner. All 4 teams have played exceptionally well this season. So it should be an amazing time. So make sure to tune in. That about wraps things up on HBANZ Magnified for tonight. Maxi, thank you for joining me, and I want to wish you good luck for both your teams in the upcoming grand finals.
Thanks, Dope. Good luck to you as well in Div 1.
Thanks very much. And thank you guys for watching. Please make sure to tune into the D1 Grand Final this Sunday at 8 p.m. We'll actually be streaming this episode beforehand, maybe at around 6:45 p.m. You'll know that because it'll be like 7:30 now. But stick around because we're actually going to stream Mozilla's best goals and saves of the season video straight after this, along with announcing the 2 MVPs for this season. So we've got a heck of a night ahead of us. Make sure to tune into D2 as well this Monday at 8:30. Good luck to all the teams involved, and we will see you next season. Goodbye. That is a bit of a lie. I was trying to talk in the future there, about the future, but no MVPs tonight. MVPs are tomorrow. But we do have Mozilla's video coming up right now, and then we'll get straight into the grand final. We'll move to Jason's stream, but for now, here is Mozilla's video. Hopefully this plays the way I'm hoping it to. He read it well. We got another chance. Gave it to Iwobi. Beautiful pass to Jeffrey. Oh, he went top post. It was a good effort, and it was a great save by Kills. I think Kills is pretty much in the perfect position now. I don't think Jeffrey could have scored that.
So,
7-11 to go! Oh,
good.
My
save by
God.
Gerard.
End-to-end stuff there.
LCD, from what I've seen, is really solid.
Yeah, LCD has had a really good season after coming back after so many seasons off. But he's one from the early days, LCD. Of DT. 32. He's pretty much scoring almost at will, and can he score on Dilzer? That's the main thing. I mean, the Cubs are the best defensive team statistically of the season as well. That's something to note. They've conceded the least amount of goals. Actually had a really good game last one. Scored the equaliser with 3 seconds to go. It was amazing. Oh, what a save by Wingard there. Probably should have been a goal by Jason. Just had to turn before kicking.
Oh, it's a chance and drag.
I'm
Equalize
the
it.
I'm the fucking MVP. Let's go. Oh my god. Oh my god, damn Kevin Love.
I got my player to watch in this match as Pingu. I think he's probably the best player on the Fishermen. Here's a chance. LCD!
Oh my god.
In the hood! Oh,
As I was saying, pick of the draft.
What a vid by Moz. That was amazing. Editing was on point. Music was on point. It was really good. All right, I'm putting up the grand final room now. I'm changing the stream to Jason. Oh, hey, that's me. Yeah, I'm watching myself on my laptop. So I'll put Jason's stream on now. Refresh in a couple minutes. And good luck to Infamous and Lions. We are on now.